It does get loaded. It does get loaded on YouTube.
Right, called to order at 12 o'clock sharp. I think that's the first for us for a while. We have any citizen comments?
I'm not aware of any, but we do have.
Jolene said this was.
Oh, my coworker.
Oh, okay.
He's new-ish to Lewiston, so he's gonna check things out. That's James.
Hi, James. Do you have any comments?
I'll just find this one out.
Or the shot? So on for our discussion items, we have Dr. Douglas Cruthers here from LC State's workforce training to talk about programs that are implemented through them that help address issues faced by the disability community. Would you like to pull up a chair?
I'll stand if you guys are okay. I teach a lot of times, so this makes me feel more comfortable. So I'll really just start. I assume that not many people are super familiar with the workforce training ID in Idaho. And so I'll start there and kind of I'll work my way on from there. Workforce training there's 6 centers in the state of Idaho. We're all responsible for our own educational region. So we are here in educational region 2, if you're not aware. And so we're responsible for pretty much everything from Potlatch all the way down to Briggins. And so we are the 2nd largest land mass with the 2nd least population. So we have a lot of land and not a lot of people. The workforce training model was initiated by the state of Idaho. What it was supposed to do was it was supposed to provide non-credit options for businesses. So when businesses are looking for training that they're not necessarily needing to send someone to like business school or nursing school, they wanted a kind of alternative. That's what we provide. From that, we're also, because Idaho has no really, I have to be careful how I say this. There are unions in Idaho, but the main ones like plumbing, electrical, and HVAC don't necessarily have unions like Washington State has unions. We oversee the training in Idaho for our region for those 3 main ones as well. And so that's kind of one of our big, what we hang our hat on is that apprenticeship side. And then on the other side, we're also the designated CNA provider for this general region as well. And so whether or not you know it, if you have anything to do with the CNA, somehow that CNA had something to do with us. Even if it was trained in another hospital or another area, we oversaw something of that. And so that's kind of our 2 big state mandated areas. Other than that, we provide a whole lot of training in different arenas. We are with LC State. We are an auxiliary company or auxiliary entity from LC State. And what that means is that we get to charge tuition and fees based on our own schedule. We don't have to follow the like 4 credit options there. What that also means is that we are basically a swim or sink type of organization. If I can't and the staff can't make our salaries, we don't get salaries. So we, unlike the rest of the college, we get very little money from the state and very little money from the actual college. And so what I usually let people know is about half of our salaries are actually given to us by the state or by the college, and we make everything else. That includes we pay our own rent, utilities, and the whole 9 yards. So while we get to have low costs, a lot of our programs start right around $100. There always is some cost because I like to get paid. But it's one of those things I've gotten used to. And so outside of what I've mentioned with apprenticeships and CNA, we have about 4 different large departments that we have underneath us. And so apprenticeships is one of them. Not only do we do the 3 major ones, but so electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. We also have a millwright apprenticeship program. We're working on a DSP apprenticeship program. We also have apprenticeship programs in a lot of electrical is a very broad field, and not everyone ends up as a general electrical journey. We also have low voltage, which is like alarm systems and fire systems. We're also working on a PLC, which is computers talking to one another, apprenticeships as well. Basically, we're working on manufacturing apprenticeships, there's a lot of different ones that we have out there. Because basically, if a business approaches us, we try to accommodate them with what training. So apprenticeships is one side. We also do our healthcare, so our CNA, CPR, medical assisting, EMT. We used to be paramedics, but we're no longer doing that, but we're now getting into advanced EMT. We have classes throughout the year in each one of these, along with several other healthcare items that I'm sure I can't remember. We then have business, which is things like communication skills, group working. One of my favorite classes is dealing with difficult people. So I'm sure we're all in customer service or have, coworkers that sometimes just get us there. We teach classes on how to kind of deal with that. We teach a lot of different business classes. We have a portfolio of about 375 topics. We have lots of different professors and lots of different teachers that teach for us. So typically what I tell people is look at our catalog, and if you don't see it in there, give one of us a call. I bet we probably can have teach something on that. Then our last big area, it doesn't seem like it fits in workforce training, but the way we design it, we make you learn without knowing that you could get a job from it. So it's our our personal development, sorry. And what we do there is classes like cooking, sewing. We also do painting. A lot of these classes, sewing, we were actually brought to that by a company that was on the prairie. They make athletic garbs. I believe they're called Tear Up or something along those lines. It's been a while since we've talked with them. But they wanted us to start a sewing program because if you can use a little sewing machine, you could be taught to use a large sewing machine. And so we actually learned from that seamstress is a dying art, and lots of people want to learn that. And so that has been an area that has really expanded for us, but also leads to a job, not just personal enrichment. Our cooking classes, if you take them in the right sequence and order, you can actually walk out and have the possibility to take a test to become a line cook. And so it's not just learning how to cook, but it's learning how to actually make that turn around and be profitable as well. Our painting classes, I always say, is marketing, because who doesn't want pretty paintings in their marketing, right? But those are kind of our big main areas. We for businesses and anything that you guys may be aligned to in that area. We work with businesses. We conduct personalized training programs for a lot of different companies. For instance, we work really closely with Clearwater Paper, Idaho Forest Group, those larger guys. We work a little bit with SEL, but we also work a lot with mom and pop shops. And so a lot of times we get phone calls. You have about 4 or 5 people that are looking for training. We can probably accommodate you in some way. There's of course going to be a cost, but our cost is pretty low. For instance, to have one of our teachers come out and teach is roughly $160 an hour. That includes up to 15 people and whatever content we're teaching. So if you look that up online, if that gave you a sticker shock, look it up online. I promise you will come call us for that price. So that's kind of an overview of what we do. One of the big things kind of dealing with your guys' group is, since we are affiliated with the school, we are affiliated with Accessibility Services. And so we are able to reach out to them and get everything that the college has in that area for our students as well. One of the things that we do have to follow the guidelines of our program. So for instance, just a few things that come up that may not directly deal with you guys, but kind of something to think about. There are restrictions. So for instance, with CNA, you have to be able to speak in English and speak intelligently in English. If we can't get you to speak English, we can't speak intelligently, we can't help you, right? And so we get up against walls sometimes with some of the things that maybe state mandated or state reported, but we also find a lot of really creative solutions to help get through our programs. And we're very upfront. I think this is one of the things that I pride my staff on. We're very upfront. If we don't think it's going to happen, we will 100% say, this is why we don't think it can happen, and we need to come over this boundary in order to get into this program. Because there are just some times that I may really, really want, like I really, really want to be a linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks, and I think I've passed my prime. So we just have to be real with some of the things that we can do. Love to answer any questions you guys may have. Last thing, I guess, before questions, you have not noticed, we're in a beautiful new location downtown. We're under Clearwater Hall, so the dorms that are down there on the corner. We used to be in triple wide trailers out in North Lewiston. While North Lewiston is great, I'm much happier to be downtown and be able to walk down and get a nice little meal whenever I want to. So if you guys ever have an opportunity, come feel free to swing by and stare any dish. That's pretty neat. We're also open for meetings like this. So if you guys ever wanted to switch up where you guys meet, we can even record from there too. So let me know. Any questions about workforce? I'd love to answer them.
Go ahead, can I ask? Where can you find the portfolio? Of what classes?
It's already-
Yep.
Oh,
So if I was a better director, I would have actually brought the catalog, and I totally spaced it. So I was sitting in the parking lot here, but maybe next meeting you can bring some catalogs. We have a catalog. I'm sure that it came into, I'm hoping that it came into almost every one of your guys' mailboxes sometime around
I
Thanksgiving.
saw the dealing with difficult people one, and I was like, yeah, that's my husband.
So we have that come out twice a year. And then if you're looking in the meantime, you can go to lcsc.com, workforce training. And our
Okay,
whole,
that was
yeah.
gonna be my question, is that if you don't get one of the classes, do you guys come to businesses?
We can.
Specifically?
So we
Okay.
actually, I love to travel, and we, one of the things I was talking about today is that we designed our new building with the intent to travel. For example, our computer lab is made up of complete laptops. And so if you need a training not in our computer lab, we can take all those laptops, put them in a case, show up there, and as long as you've got power to plug us in, we can get going. So for a lot of our classes, we can. There are some classes that are a little bit more difficult to bring to people, but even outside of that, we are still trying. So CNA is a tough travel class, but we now have CNA residencies in Grangeville. Annie, I believe, is still working out there. We're working on one in Orofino, and Riggins is always hit and miss, but we've run a program out there before as well. We're actually doing McCall. We stole one from one of our other agencies, but McCall likes us better. So yeah.
You
So,
said $160 for up to 15 people. What if it's more people? Do you just charge by the person or?
so it depends on what kind of content it is. Usually what our instructors will tell you is that after 15 people, our content is very user based. And so a lot of activities, a lot of learning, a lot of not just sitting around getting lectured to. And so if we get past 15 people, just, it's not as good, right? So we can do it and we will do it. I'm not gonna say no, but
You do it in like multiple class, like
100%.
groups? Okay.
yeah. We actually, we work with the tribal enterprises a lot, and that's how we actually work with them, as we will run through like 2 or 3 classes of the same class, but 15 people and 15 people and 15 people, so.
So I saw in your personal enrichment, thing in your workforce training on the website, there is an Android phones and tablets for beginners.
Mhm.
So there's this idea that I've had for some time now, and I just haven't done it. I bought a book at a thrift store, and that's what gave me the idea. It was phones for seniors,
Mhm.
teaching seniors phones. And so is that something that if I was hypothetically able to fund paying for it, right? You guys could come out and teach that, or we could bring that group to you guys.
Yep, 100%.
Okay.
In fact, that's actually where that class came from, is that we had a lot of our governmental partners say, we have folks that have these cell phones and they don't know how to use them, or all they can do is call their daughter, right?
Right.
So what can we do? And so that's actually exactly where that class came from. The last time we ran it, our instructor absolutely loved it. I think she had 6 wonderful old ladies that were in the class. And so, yeah, we can definitely take that one and bring it. Yeah.
Great. No, I think it's awesome.
So could you expand on who's eligible to take these classes? So you mentioned about understanding English and all that, but who is or is not eligible?
So as long as there's nothing within like the certification that would prevent you, so if you don't speak English, we would let you know that right away. It's open to everyone.
Well, wait a minute. I mean, I assume they have to be 18 or over.
16. And actually, we can even go lower than that depending on the class.
Okay.
There are some,
Do they have to live in Idaho?
no,
Okay.
and there's no, if you live in Washington, there's no price increase because of living outside of the
Wow.
state.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are
that's one of the
some- are
benefits of
some
being
of-
auxiliary.
Are some of these classes virtual? They could do it from home.
You know, most of them are, and if they're not, we can definitely discuss about how we can bring them on.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
Any other
no, those are great.
guidelines? Any other guidelines or prohibitions?
It's really, to speak very broadly, is difficult because our classes are so diverse that some have very specific guidelines
Okay.
and some are, nope, you just show up and we can do it. The best way is that if you're interested in something, give us a call and we'll be able to tell you pretty much right there what those guidelines are. So for instance, I say that you have to be 16 or older. For EMT, you actually have, or I'm sorry, for phlebotomy, you actually have to be 18 or older, right?
Sure,
So,
sure.
so each one is a little bit different, but we do have programming. In fact, we had, our welding instructor currently, and I can't speak down the road, but currently our welding instructor feels confident. He used to be a high school and junior high instructor. And so we actually had 13 and 14-year-olds in our welding program because he felt confident
Wow.
teaching those guys because
Wow.
he taught them before. So, yeah.
So to the nature of this group, all the classes are held in places that are disabled accessible.
Yes, sir. They're all on campus. And so I assume if, as long as we also know too, we'll make sure that we are in our room. I know there's a few LCSE spots that are still not accessible. But our brand new building is 100% ADA compliant. So we can definitely hold them there and it's really pretty in there. So.
And then just since you had mentioned funding or brought up funding, just out of curiosity, the half of the funding you got to generate yourself. Of that half, how much is paid by employers who hire you to teach classes versus people walking off the street and pay a tuition?
And so I can roughly speak to about 60% of our classes are catalog classes, and that accounts for about a little under half of our income. The other half is made specifically from companies that are contract classes, so they
Okay.
hired us for this specific class at this specific time. So right now, currently in the year, we've worked with over 80 companies within the region to So we work with a lot of different companies.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, you're talking about the age range there. I know when I was younger, there was a law state that, at a certain age, you could not register.
And it depends on the machinery, so a very good example is forklift. I can't let you on a forklift until you're 18, because the insurance won't cover you. And so that's one of the things that when we work with those classes, that's where we set those regulations, and so it's all kind of within its own class. We get a lot of leeway on the insurance side of that because we are a college. And so since we're affiliated with the college, because we're a training institution, our insurance covers a lot of younger kids, and because specifically LCSC does so much dual credit, they actually can work down pretty low compared to some of like the other universities and whatnot. But again, it's kind of it's case by case basis. And one of the other things is that we take into account is our instructors. None of our instructors, we only actually have one full-time instructor that teaches our CNA classes. Everybody else are people who are out there working. And so in my welding example, that gentleman had been teaching junior high and high school, but if we had another welder, we do have another welder who's in his 70s and has taught in Alaska forever, I'm not sure he'd feel comfortable teaching 14-year-olds. And so if he said no, then we would just have to relay that back to the customer. So that's kind of the ebb and flow of our teachers, but we always try to accommodate wherever we can.
So I noticed you mentioned that it's really accessible. So the next question would be like, do you like kind of match jobs to people with their disabilities? Or you just let anybody with disability violate?
We never have gotten into any of that. When I first started as director, we did a lot more of matching, a lot more career shaping and things like that. To be quite honest, we also got into trouble with a lot of that because we're not experts at that. And so instead, anyone can show up and take whatever class they want. We say, yep, let's come on in. And then we try to accommodate wherever we can or say, no, for some reason this won't work out. But that is not our side of the college. We can definitely direct you to people who would be able to help you with that. Whether they direct you back to workforce training or not is beyond me. But
We have a relationship with Book Graham then.
Yeah,
Okay.
with all the Department of Labor, with unemployment.
Well, and that's where I imagine would be the referral to your program.
Yeah, a lot of our programs,
Whatever program would work for the student.
and a lot of our programs, they go through the Department of Labor. It's WIOA funded,
Mhm.
and so they get the WIOA funding, and so we.
Yeah.
And then
And they're pretty
again,
good over there.
oh
about
yeah,
Doing all the assessments and stuff like that.
yeah, which is something that we definitely could have stayed into and gotten into, but I like it's a lot easier just to let people come to me, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Is there a counterpart in Clarkston across the river? There is, isn't there?
So Walla Walla Community College does a lot of the same programming that we do, but they don't do it for the non-credit. So everything over at Walla Walla is for credit, so you're gonna pay those for credit prices. And we have a special, so the state of Idaho or the little bit of funding we get from Idaho, they want that to stay in Idaho, but we have made a very strong case that we are not the city of Lewiston and the city of Clarkson, we are the Lewis-Clark Valley, and that our economies jump both sides of the river. And so we have a fairly good relationship. We've only been called out once on it while I have been in there, that we can work across the river and even conduct training. The thing that got sticky was, well, if someone from Clarkson's asked us to can do training, technically that's Idaho money going across the river. We made a pretty good case. At the moment they don't care as long as it's paying the bills, and it does. So, or pays that side of it. So yeah, we there's not really a true counterpart over there. Walla Walla does do a lot of the same programming we do, but they do it for credit. And I would never say this in front of them, but they do it a lot more money. So
Right. No, but I thought there was an office called Workforce Training or something like it in their office, not affiliated with community college, and their office is on Bridge Street next door to Sweden.
If there is, I'm not aware of it,
Okay.
which doesn't mean there's not. It just means that I'm not aware of it. So.
Okay.
So for some of the other programs that are a little bit more time intensive, like the apprenticeships and stuff like that, do you know if those programs qualify for financial aid?
So that's a very good question, and it's kind of an interesting subject right now. As I'm sure you guys are aware, the One Big Beautiful Bill did pass.
Oh, yeah.
And as part of that One Big Beautiful Bill, short-term financial aid was a member of that. As of right now, with the current way that they have set up the laws, our program does not qualify for that. It's too long, and we don't have, and just barely enough hours. However, if you guys are aware of Idaho Launch, so it's all of those programs are available on Idaho Launch. If your folks that you're working with are still high school students, Advanced Opportunities is supporting for the first and second year of all of our apprentices as well. WIOA funding, so if they do qualify for WIOA, those are all on the WIOA charts. Also, last case scenario, it is Fannie Mae money.
Yeah,
I believe they can spend that on a lot of it too, but I'll just tell you that one of the big things that we do at workforce training is we try to keep our prices as possibly low as possible.
they're really,
It's, yeah, if you, just for our CNA, it's, well, now we're over $1,000, but we're right at $1,000. If you look at the other CNA programs, even from our other workforce training centers around the state, we beat them by $700 or $800. And so we don't have a lot of funding programs. I realize that. We just try to keep our prices low with the hopes. And I know this is, everybody has their own thing, but our apprenticeships are $1,800. If you want to be an apprentice, then you can find $1,800 to come and figure out the apprenticeship one way or the other. So that's one of the reasons we try to keep them low, knowing that there's just not a lot of funding opportunities out there. So, but yeah, apprenticeships specifically, there are a lot more than what there are for other ones. CNA as well. People don't realize that if you're going to be a CNA, there's a lot of funding opportunities if you're currently working as a CNA or wanting to work as a CNA very quickly after you move forward. So. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so my question is probably more for the group, because you guys all have expertise in this area, but when it comes to the disabled community, where is the education gap with getting them into the workforce? Where do you guys see that gap?
they just don't know about what's available most of the time, the options.
Okay, can you state that one more time so I can, your question?
Yeah, what's the gap, or what do you think is missing between, for someone who's disabled getting into the workforce?
Right now, the gap that I see, because typically I would refer one of my clients to the vocational, and right now there's funding issues, but then when we did have a meeting and we did resume some services because there was a wait list and all of that, I was told that they're no longer going to be providing the community-based evaluations. And I think that that's definitely going to be a gap, because typically my clients would go out and work at 2 or 3 different places in the community for about 20 hours each to try and see what their barriers and strengths are at different settings in the community. So without that opportunity, it's like, okay, that would typically lead into a position. But now without that opportunity, I'm already struggling, like, I need to start calling places and saying, hey, are you willing to work with someone who has a one-on-one job coach? And can they come up and, can we meet with you and talk about, so it's like they used to kind of do a lot of that and now they're not. So I think that that's going to be a pretty big gap. So I think that some of us, like case managers and stuff, are going to have to kind of figure out how to go about doing that, because we're not doing that portion of it anymore. So that's something that I've already dealt with that I think will make it difficult, so.
Understand, and that's it. What company was that?
Yeah, Voc Rehab, just
Voc
right
Rehab.
over here, the Idaho
Yeah.
Vocational Department, something or other. But yeah, so there needs to be some kind of a way for them to secure, I think, some type of funding to set up those different placements in the community, the temporary work. That's not happening anymore.
Alright, I'll have to find out about that, because I didn't know that what you said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was like a huge component, because most of the people that I've worked with, that's been a major need for them to be able to go out into the actual businesses and see what they would be able to do with the job coach. And that would help, carve out a space for them that would be a good fit for them to be able to work, permanently at a position, so.
Like you, I just get the phone and I hear through the grapevine that, like, North 40 does great with working with people with disabilities, or this place or that. And then I'd suggest it, but same problem. I just didn't know Voc Rehab even did that, let alone now it's done. So.
Yeah, and so that's been, yeah, that's kind of a new thing that I've been dealing with.
Just on the
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so with that in mind, Doug, what if anything do you see as an opportunity for what your group is doing? I don't know, maybe a training course that isn't so much of a training in a specific area, but exposure to what is it like to work this kind of job in these different areas that we offer, so to speak. Like just a really quick crash course of here's kind of the stuff you do. Do you like doing this? I don't
So
know.
we do something very similar to that with the, Idaho Youth Challenge Academy, that are out there outside of Pierce. And so they come down and we do, usually it's on a Friday, and we usually do 3 or 4 Fridays. And every Friday is something a little bit different. So one Friday they're learning healthcare classes. One Friday they're doing welding programs. One Friday they're doing EMT and that type side of healthcare.
Just try it out.
Just to try it out. We have a little bit harder time, very much like you guys were saying with setting up some careers. Although I will say, on a completely side note, that I work with CETA, if you guys are aware of Clearwater Economic Development Agency. We're actually working on something very similar to that, letting people work in different jobs in different areas with some employers, trying to get employers on board.
Like a career mentoring day kind of thing.
Sort of, the idea is that everyone has a problem with soft skills, so the actual ability to like talk and communicate.
Right.
And we were all sitting there listening one day, and my background is in retail and bartending, and we all of a sudden all realized that, hey, retail and like hospitality is actually where we all learned our soft skill abilities. So what we're trying to do is the ramps, like not so much trying out different places, but let's work like in those type of agencies to try to develop those soft skills and then send them on to the manufacturing side, where probably they're going to make more money, but now they can actually. Right, and so, so something very similar along those lines, is something we're working on independently, but as workforce training, we do kind of run not only those, from Pierce, but also we work with, Clarkson High School, and done the same thing, and Lewiston High School. We've talked about doing them for adults. The closest thing that we have right now, which I encourage you guys all to keep an eye out for, is we call it Safety Fest in the spring.
They saw that.
Yeah, and so Safety Fest gives free safety training and free, just training in general to folks over a 2-day period. And so they can kind of dip their hat in some different industries, or at least see what they might be like, without having to spend any money for those particular ones. But we would be more than willing. I mean, if like a bunch of agencies came together, we wanted to set it up and we had, 10, 15 folks that we could run through, we'd be very willing to set up the same thing like we do with folks in Pierce and let them kind of run through a different bit of gambit. One of the other things I love about workforce is that we try to keep our prices low for that exact reason, that if you want to try being a CNA, $1,000 is a lot easier than going for your nursing degree and getting into it, realizing that I shouldn't have ever been in the healthcare field, right? And so a lot of those things we try to keep low just to let people sample without a huge risk to their pocketbook. But always happy to set those up. We also have a really close relationship with the campus, obviously. And so any of the programs that are up there as well, we can try to incorporate those instructors. And if they're interested in psychology, or interested in nursing, or interested in that, we can have a how-to day, and then we set up they have their nursing lab. We work with them to get to go into the nursing lab and see what it's like to be in a fake hospital, but as close as we can get them to a real hospital. So yeah. Hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Sounds like
A
there
lot
are
of good information.
options.
Yeah.
Probably need to be driven by the experts in this area for sure.
Yeah. I mean, one of the big things I tell you is it's always yes till I tell you no. So we can try to do pretty much anything, but at some point, honestly, it's cost. The two biggest things that get in our way are cost and teachers. Since we don't employ full-time teachers, then we're always out in the community asking. If people say, we have been trying to do a carpentry program forever, but I can't. Carpenters are so busy, they don't have time to give me. Right. I finally got someone who's retired that's working with us to do a carpentry program. So that's our biggest kind of deal is it's too cost prohibitive, or you don't have the people.
So if an adult with a developmental disability, let's say, found one of the classes online that they wanted to participate in, that they needed some hands-on one-on-one assistance, and they already had a one-on-one staff that could attend with them, would that be an option?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
And one of the big things, as far as I know, we're not in that situation, but we have a lot of parents that attend with their children.
Oh,
Don't even
okay.
charge extra. I think sometimes the parents are attending with their child.
Yeah.
They go to the class too, but.
You say child, but that's 16 and older.
Actually, so 13, 14, if they're under 16, we tend to try to get somebody who would be responsible for them there.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
But 16 and over,
No, my son and I saw you guys had drawing classes and I was like, wait a second, you said children.
Actually, so I think it's Albert, I can't say his last name, but he's actually had 12, 13, and 14-year-olds in
Okay.
his class. But the parents,
Yeah.
or one, it was actually a family, so like I think mom of this one attended one day and then just kind of.
Rotated, yeah.
But need somebody other than him to take care of them in case the building burned down. And so.
It's nice that
Yeah.
it's not stringent and you guys are not just have all these rules in place. It's nice that it's open and to,
We work really hard with administration to make sure that we get to stay as independent as possible from some of their crazy college rules. So,
yeah.
yeah, and since we pay our own insurance, it helps out a whole lot, so.
Follow up on your original question, if I remember what it was. Had to do with how people find jobs or something.
Yeah,
Job
the-
placement.
Yeah, the gap between, yeah. job
So on a
placement.
basis of comparison, just on the other side of the river. So Washington mandates that each county have an actual department that does that. In Clarkson, it's called Suffolk County Community Services,
Oh, yeah.
which I consider a bit euphemistic. It's like, what does that mean? And they're located around the corner from where the Interlake office is. And so, yeah, people with disabilities, and that can be both physical or cognitive, can go there of any age and they help find them jobs. And sometimes if they can't find them paid jobs with job coaches and everything else, they have a pretty extensive portfolio and a lot of job coaches. But then they'll just make up jobs, to shred paper or wipe out tables
Yeah.
in the senior center, things like that. And on this side of the river, it is just a little more hit and miss and go here and go there and go here and go there, it's unfortunate.
And they don't work with Wilson side, do they? And
Because they
so-
can't.
They did before because.
Did they?
Mhm.
Before
Because,
COVID?
I think.
During
I've been-
COVID.
Was it during COVID? Cause I know that when I had some of my people that I work with that were looking for job positions, one of the options for the job coaching agency was.
Yeah.
Community services.
Yeah.
Well, there was a period of time, I'm not sure how long, they had the contract with the Army Corps of Engineers to provide people with disabilities, to pick up litter and clean along the park, the dike line, the dikes on both sides of the river, which would help. Also, and for some weird
Yeah.
reason, it got canceled during COVID. And it's like, hey, it's outdoors, they're a long ways apart from each other, it's the perfect workplace, and they eventually got that started back up. And then I wanted to ask, and you probably interact or work with Lewiston High School, so correct me if I'm wrong here. What I know, in their special services department, which they're required to provide educational services up to age 21 for people with disabilities, not
Mhm.
just 18
This
who
work program?
graduate, you leave. Sub 21, but they have this fair. I would hope that you guys are.
Yeah,
We
the
are.
transition fair.
Yeah. I always hear about it, but we don't serve people under 60, so it doesn't really apply to us. But where they have this fair at the high school, with all these tables of opportunities of all kinds, right?
Mhm.
Educational, employment, independent living, all of that. I wish the Tribune or TV would cover it. And it's especially also attended by the parents of the people because they're looking for, how do I transition my child out to the community? Or if something happens to me, what's out there?
There's one coming out not too long from now, like on the flyer.
I think they're always.
So we actually participated in the Moscow transition fair, the LHS transition fair. I'm going to the Tammany, I think it's just their regular job fair, but the Tammany job fair, we do Grangeville's transition fair.
Well, that's cool.
We actually have, yeah, I think so. It might be a normal one. They sometimes combine the two at the same time,
Uh-huh.
so I don't know which one we've been invited to. We actually get invited more to the transition fairs than we do to the other ones.
Mhm.
But we do attend all of them. They're actually great. I'll tell you for two reasons. One, I love helping the population and making sure people realize there's opportunities everywhere. We actually make so many connections with the parents, and the parents come to us for training for other things. That's actually a better source for us almost than
Yes.
other than the clients themselves. So, but yeah, we participated in almost all of those. We actually might have missed the Moscow one this year. I think Darius and I both had something that we were doing. But anyways, for the last 3 or 4 years, we go to pretty much all of the ones we can.
it's kind of an invisible population, families with children with disabilities, getting special services, and then they age through the program. It's all homegrown and organic, not people moving here. And so you know how many there are year after year after year after year. And it's great to have those fairs and to bring together resources all times, which I assume
Yes.
just the Action Center has a table to.
But you're right, I wish it would get more media exposure, because I think more parents would opt into services or at least come explore, you know, what information's out there. It's not as attended, the transition fair is not as attended as I would have hoped to see it. And so, I mean, the first year I did it, I did DAC for 4 years. The first year I did it, it was pretty busy. The second year it was pretty busy. KLEW came to that one. But then it's kind of like, you know, petered a little bit. So it'd be nice to see it.
You
Yeah,
have some media contact?
I do. I just need to.
Do you have any more questions for Dr. Cruthers? Comments, concerns?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mark. I
Yeah,
appreciate
so
your
much.
time. If you guys have any questions, you have a great contact here, but feel free to shoot me an email or anything if you have any class ideas. Or this is my last plug. If you want to teach something, you have a secret talent, or you're some kind of like secret accountant and I don't know about it, let me know
Yeah.
because we are always looking for teachers and some of the craziest classes actually do the best for us.
And they get paid.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We pay our teachers as well as you would expect a government agency to pay their teachers.
By the
What
way,
is your email address?
DF.
Uh-huh.
Cruthers, and it's spelled CRUTHIRDS@lcsc.edu.
Okay.
Or you can just do WFT@lcsc.edu and I'll get it. It'll
Okay.
eventually get to me too.
Perfect. Thank you.
you might want to touch base with me. I'm the director of the link. We have on our ramp building teams for senior citizens, wooden ramp building teams. Some of those people are retired from. They design the ramp and lead the teams that build them. It's never been question's never been put to any of them if they'd like to teach. Although LCSC students build us one ramp a year.
The welding guys too, right?
No, no, it's all wood. It
Okay.
used to be through a program that got shut down in the tech department, and now it's through like the physics class or something. Because it's the same professor,
Sure.
and they designed the ramp and then they constructed under the supervision of one of our people. And so it's not all of our volunteers, but a handful of them are retired carpenters. Maybe they would teach.
The retired folks make the best teachers. Our electrical
Yeah,
staff
that's
is nothing but it, or retired journalism fiction. They just don't want to like give it up, right? So
Mhm.
they teach them. Awesome. Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you
Thanks
so
for the
much.
time. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
You get their little catalogs.
Yeah, but I glanced at it, but life's busy, man. That works so much better for me than getting a catalog in the mail.
Exactly.
I like looking at the catalogs, especially the enrichment programs, because those are the ones that change
Mhm.
all the time, and we just never know.
Sausage baking,
Line
that was one of
dancing.
them on there, sausage baking. Love line dance.
And they do a bunch of pop-up classes too.
Right.
What?
They'll do pop-up classes. And it's just like, ooh, this sounds fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so onto our active agenda, election of chair. I would like to nominate Jolie Fitz. Or Matt, I don't care.
I thought we decided on that.
Is it, did we?
For what?
Election of chair. Or Mark, would you like,
No.
I'm willing to pass the mantle. It's been a couple of years
You
now.
said you were going to stay, but okay.
Yeah, I
No.
don't, what
Who's nominated?
what are you doing for it?
Anybody but us. Women.
Sure.
Well, I've held it for a while.
And you've held it very well.
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm not gonna lie, it has.
It's been a wonderful 2 years, thanks.
Since I've been here.
I
Are you
nominate.
guys nominating Constance?
I
Yeah, no, I think we are.
Since
I'm just gonna write group nominates.
That feels like a cop out.
You do it when
I,
She agreed. She agreed for another year.
I would do it for another year, but just because it's Mark's
Do you like how we just?
somehow endearing for me.
Well, I thought you said that. No, we
I
didn't.
said I
We
would do
didn't
that
have
if
a-
nobody else
Oh,
would.
if no one else.
But I feel like that's also how
I
I've
think you have your answer.
been it for
Yes.
the last 2 years.
How did you get so?
You've been traveling through the Southwest.
It's a booth.
Damn.
Good talk.
You got a tanning booth?
Thank you, Ms. Counselor Vance.
That all
Yeah,
that's
thank
not-
you.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah, there could be elections.
Sorry, Brad.
Apparently, I'm also red.
Are there other?
I was a little bit. A little bit.
I was about to go off topic too. So election of vice chair then. Who wants to be vice chair? Who is willing to be? I rarely ever miss a meeting. It's a body in the room, Jess.
Oh, I don't.
I could probably do that.
Yeah, I think that
I
you're
nominate
great.
Jolene.
Me too.
Jolene has been nominated. All in favor?
Aye.
We have a second.
Oh.
Do we need a second?
No, you
I'll
don't.
second
But you
Okay.
might have other
as
nominations.
well. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any discussion on opposition? Besides Jolene.
Like moving on.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Quick and painless.
I joined you.
You did.
Yes.
I read through the minutes.
No suffrage alone.
I honestly, it's been a long time. I honestly wasn't even here for.
Well, that was the
The
first thing I was
transportation
going to say is that Matt's name's not listed as attending or not attending. In the minutes, it's, were you here in
I was
December?
not here in December.
So he would be under not attending.
The only thing I noticed in the minutes is where it says Ms. Granger states she works with adults with mental disabilities. I think it's supposed to be developmental disabilities, but just. that was the
Where
only
is
thing.
that?
4 lines down, 5 lines and.
From what?
The I under coordinated transportation plan. So 5 sentences down.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Which is.
Developmental disability. So along those lines, on the backside. Two lines up from the B section,
Mhm.
the first one. The Dan Thompson Fund, it's only counties in Washington can apply for that money, not agencies, or else Interlink would be applying. It has to come from any of the counties to get that transportation.
I love having Mr. Havens on our team.
Always Leah's not here if you hear her. Her errors. She's in Mexico, so she could hear you.
Hey,
So
yeah.
he's gonna come back 10.
Yeah.
I'll be the only one.
She's. They're all weird.
Wait, no. So, sorry, the minutes on the backside. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, where it says Miss Cliff, State's Deputy Fire Chief, Richie Lucas. So it is not a community action partnership that he did a presentation for. He did a presentation for, the stakeholder quarterly meeting that we have at the courthouse with the judges. We just call it the stakeholder meeting. I don't know, the Nez County stakeholder. It wasn't a community action, it was at the Department of Health and Welfare that meeting took place.
We have any other?
What do I got to vote on this? Oh, any other changes?
Yes,
Right, I'm sorry, I thought you were moving on.
I know better than that one.
She's been the chair for 2 years.
Evidently a good chair, thank you.
Quarterly meeting with the judges, is that what you said?
Yeah, the community stakeholder meeting is what it's called, and the emails that go out. And it's comprised of like a couple of judges, like the prosecutor for the tribe, the public defender for the tribe, some of our lawyers here in town. It's just a bunch of different personnel from different organizations. Yeah, stakeholders. I didn't know that was the definition.
If there's no other corrections, I move adoption of the minutes as corrected.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Any discussion for opposition? Moving on. Do we have any future agenda items? Did we ever hear from the,
No, not yet.
Well, and then
From who?
Constance and I were
From who
talking
you were-
a little bit, we had heard something-ish.
yeah,
There was a.
You're all reading each other's minds.
There was a.
well,
there was
because
a talk.
I
We had
reached
a
out to
conversation.
Jolene about it, cause I had heard, I have
I'm pulling the text up from.
I have people that are concerned about the sober living home up in the orchards. And I have people who have come to me about it because we had citizens come to DAC. And there were rumors swirling that there was a resident who was found dead in his bed. And the rumor is that it was over a week.
Mhm.
Until they found him. And so there's some concern that the house person
The
isn't
oversight of the
there.
house.
Yeah,
The oversight of the house is not adequate.
there are reports that he's only there for a couple of hours a day. The cops get called a lot. This has come from neighbors that have approached me.
And I confirmed it with the house manager that there was a death. The text I got back was. Yes, but that was a while ago. It was a huge loss. He was a really good guy. That's all I got.
So,
So it was confirmed, the details were not, but it was confirmed that there was, but I mean. The fact that we approved the thing, for them to have extra people and then there not to be adequate oversight is kind of concerning.
Well, we didn't approve it,
Yeah,
Nor-
it's
nor-
outside of our control.
nor could it be denied, really.
Oh, right.
but we supported that the city had done what the city was supposed to
Yeah.
A
do.
reasonable accommodation.
Which I still stand by.
So do I.
It was a reasonable accommodation and there was no reason that you there legally cannot notify the neighborhood that there's a,
I think I was just more hopeful that there would be, especially with what we're defending here.
right,
You
and
know,
then for things like this to be happening, and it really is a concern for the community.
Well, there must be an oversight agency, probably someone with the state.
I
Given
imagine.
the fact the deceased person's body wasn't discovered for a week, that's horrific. I mean, I'm gonna hope that that's in the
Oh,
realm
yeah.
of myth,
I'm gonna make it finish.
in the realm of myth, and that didn't happen, because I just,
Well, come to find, there was a death in
yeah.
the house, so.
And it honestly is not that, I mean, this time of year, it's a little outlandish, but there was one up in Rufino not that long ago, and she wasn't found for 4 days, 5 days, because they were all going camping at a sober camping trip with AA. I mean, it's not unheard of for it to be several days before they're found because of things like that, but this is a fall and winter, everybody's home, and those things are taken.
That presentation we had though said there were supposed to be on site, so 1 or 2 people living in the house.
No,
There were multiple questions about oversight, who the overseeing body would be,
You know,
Mhm.
overnight.
who concerned citizens would be able to talk to if they believed that the oversight was not sufficient.
right,
I mean, I would think the company that's responsible.
yeah, and it's two,
for the house.
because remember I looked it up and it was a profit and a nonprofit, Moonlight Mountain is, and so I guess that would be it, but I know, like we said, they came in and shut down him coming in to talk, and now I understand why, because he probably is not trained or has adequate.
Well, that's why I don't know
Experience.
if we get somebody who would want to.
Yeah, I don't think so. Mm-mm.
So just remind you, we're on future agenda items.
Yes,
Well, we were considering whether or not we were gonna have them.
Have them come back,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna continue to make the request that someone come and speak.
Yeah.
so we
just
just
talked about it.
commissioner comments. Do we have anybody on the books? I feel like we had somebody,
I feel like there was another topic.
There was one I was thinking of today, I can't remember.
was it somebody coming in from a department? We can always address this throughout.
Yeah.
If anybody has any ideas. Thank you.
Yeah,
I don't know if mere illness qualifies as a disability.
What?
but Mere illness, sick people.
oh, mirror, I was like mirror.
I said mayor at first.
So Interlink has become, where I work has and is becoming very up to date and knowledgeable about this. There's been 2 articles in the paper so far already, the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
And we were contacted before the Tribune was ever contacted.
Hey, Mark, is this for future agenda items or
Yes.
commissioner comments? Okay.
And I mean, if this were relevant.
I think that's a good
And
idea.
I could do a presentation on it. The woman in Las Vegas contacted us, and because she grew up here in Western Carson, that's why she picked us first. There's nobody in Idaho, there's no office in Idaho helping people fill these out, but there are predatory lawyers who are, what?
In help. I just learned about it last week, but we can help.
Do you know about it?
Applications, I do.
Okay, and to help people, and that's because the big thing is Idaho was just added. This program's been around since the 90s. Idaho was just added last year as part of the big beautiful bill. And it's the whole state of Idaho, as opposed to like counties in northern Arizona and Nevada. And I've had 4 phone calls with them, and they sent me a whole big packet of stuff. It defies logic and any explanation that any of the radiation from the above ground atomic bomb tests blew up the Idaho panhandle and caused people to get cancer. But in fact, doesn't matter. The entire state of Idaho got added to the list, not Washington, not Montana.
What is it an application for? I'm sorry.
It's a downwinders.
Yeah, they call it.
Application for downwinder.
It's for money. So if you, I mean, just quick and dirty, if you lived in Idaho between 1951 and 1962 when the bombs were exploding, and you got one of 19 different kinds of cancers, and you're still alive, you qualify to get $100,000.
What if you're not still alive?
Then
Memory.
that's where the Tribune articles were not clear. Then the benefit would pass to surviving spouse. If there's no surviving spouse, it passes to the children. If there's no surviving children, it passes to the grandchildren.
Wow.
Like my grandmother died of cancer.
Mhm.
And by the way, you didn't have to get cancer back then. You don't even have to prove it was caused by radiation. You could have been diagnosed with cancer last week, as long as it's one of the 19 cancers, which is an odd list. And there's $100,000 out there waiting for you. And you don't have to be living in Idaho now, as long as you lived there.
And I know then, yeah.
I mean, hypothetically, this could bring millions of dollars in the community if you track down.
Can I take a picture?
I would like to suggest, Mark, that you do a presentation on this.
Yeah, I think that
Is it relevant for
yes.
disabilities?
Potentially any one of the folks that I serve.
Oh, yeah.
I think the problem, I mean, there will be more articles in the Tribune. The city editor, managing editor told me, but the slant always seems to be for the person themselves, like a qualified person, that you were diagnosed with cancer and you beat it and you're still alive. Yeah, 100,000 goes to you. They haven't really addressed the fact that if the person died, and they don't have to have died of cancer, you could have had cancer, doctored with cancer, hit by a bus, and died, it doesn't matter. The fact that the benefit then flows to spouse, children, grandchildren.
We might want to save this for the presentation.
Sure.
We're not getting too off of your.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I really like that for a presentation.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks.
You guys mentioned something about the UGM or something, but I didn't.
Yeah,
remember what
opening
time.
February 2nd.
Yeah, but I can't
That's what it
remember.
was. UGM.
February 2nd, I think, is their opening date.
Oh, no, the
The-
reader board, I just drove by yesterday, so it's January 30th.
Oh.
They're ribbon cutting in public tours. That, I saw it right up on
Perfect, okay.
their fancy digital reader board.
Well, they have an instruction once.
Yeah, made for that, right on State River.
Any commissioner comments?
I think the time is 10 o'clock. Yes, what? Yep.
Pinky, any comments from? Nope. All right, adjournment, boom, 12:54.
See what a good sharing.
I come in at top.
How's it been going?
It's going. I just finished my,
Yeah.
well,